Hi, my name is Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I'm happy you found us. If you're returning, welcome back. I really appreciate your patience, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Well, today I'm going to go left field, all right? So I was, scanning the internet like I normally do every day, and I just happened to come across an article in the Dallas Morning News, and I believe it was posted around 6 o'clock this morning. It's called a biotech company aiming for permanent brain implants buys Addison Foundry. Not so much of what I'm bringing this up for is they bought another company called Addison Foundry, but what caught my eye was permanent brain implants. The second line the first line of the story talked about blurring the lines between brain and computer. Now, I get it. You're making a device that will work with neural impulses to control movement, speech, and thoughts. I get it if that's, for a person who is disabled. I get all of that. And that's wonderful because I love new technology. I love what new technology allows us as individuals to achieve and do. Now, with every new technology, we also know, and I just want to stop real quick. I'm not getting into no conspiracy theory here, but we all know what happens when you have new technology and somebody gets a hold of that new technology, wants to use it in a sinister way. That is what I'm afraid of. Sometimes companies mean well, but sometimes they go left field. And I hope that would not be the case here because, thinking about a device that will actually be implanted in the brain that would help you control movement, speech, and even thoughts. Now, here we go with, that's the number one thing that got me. Since everything could be hacked and you put a device in someone's brain and it allows the thought patterns to be, if it's hacked, to be manipulated some way, some form or fashion, that's just not a good thing in my personal opinion. And I'm quite sure they're going to have safeguards. I'm not the wisest or sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm quite sure they're going to have like all type of safeguards, just like all these other companies that have safeguards that has been hacked. So I understand to a point that, I want to know what kind of thoughts would it help control, or what type of patterns, or because we're getting into like cyborgish history over here, and I'm just curious because we all know that nanotechnology is here, and you got some people who wanted to get a chip put in, and it's good because especially for people with Alzheimer's and they go missing, chipping them like people chip their dogs or whatever, that's helpful. But when we start using these chips to do all sorts of things like open our doors and all this stuff is implanted in the body, I'm not one for all that. I mean, that technology is great, but I really don't want anything implanted in me that doesn't have to be there. And I understand that you might like it because of the convenience of it. Like if you walk into a club and they just scan your arm or scan your hand and you go right to a VIP, like I think they have some club that offered this if you get chipped. But that's not my deal. My deal is I'm wondering how far can this device go, or how far can people go and putting this device inside the brain. Now, of course, you got people who lost limbs, and the devices, for every year that goes by, the devices that they're making are becoming better and better and better, and adapting to people's bodies a whole lot easier, and a whole lot gives them more flexibility and pliability in the devices. However, when you start mixing those devices with brain implants with another device that's able to control movement, speech, and even thoughts, I wonder how far are we gonna go. And let's look at the applications that they're going to be able to do. Like, for instance, if you have, God forbid, that you have somebody who comes from the war and they have amputated limbs, so to speak, and then they get fitted for something like one of these brand new replacement limbs. And then if something happens, are they going to be also implanted with this device that can make them a better soldier? I don't know. Yeah, I watch a lot of movies, of course. Yeah, for instance, my man that plays on that movie with the arm with Captain America, Bucky. And this guy, he has an arm that was severed off when he fell off the mountain. And later on, that arm was fitted or retrofitted to give him super strength and all of this other stuff. I'm just curious how far or how much will this device help a person when they talk about helping them with their movement, speech, and thoughts. Movement and speech, I get it. But thoughts, wow. That got me going right there. If you got a device that helps you think certain thoughts, and that might be a good deal too, depending on if you're a person who suffers with some type of brain issue or sickness or disease type, and that might be a device that they can implant in your brain to help certain impulses stay at bay. I got it. That's all good. But it's the sinister part that worries me. If anybody can hack it or take advantage of it. It's just food for thought. That's all I'm talking about here. Just a little food for thought. My name is Dave. That's all I got today. And you're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If you want to hit me up, you can do so at thelastpodcast443@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. Until tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow is Poetry Friday. I'll have a brand new poem. So I'll see you, or you'll hear from me tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.